Hello everyone, very good evening. Today is October 24th, 2023. So welcome to another session of Ripster daily trade recaps from the stock market and then some teachings and daily analysis. So big earnings after hours, guys. Microsoft and Google big earnings. We'll talk about that in the end. We'll cover them in the end and see what you can have tomorrow on SPY and Google and Microsoft. But talking about today's trades, guys, lot of plays today and most of the ideas were working, but the market was choppy, so we had to bail early or we had to cover our risks. So we'll go through Spotify, the big trade of today, 50% on the options, big green trade. Triple M, we'll talk about how the trade was working, but it didn't really perfectly work out. So just a small scalp there. We'll talk about that. General Motors, the idea was right, but my execution was wrong. We'll talk about that one. Verizon, nice trade, worked out nicely today. Coin, beautiful breakout. I already talked about Bitcoin breakout yesterday. I will show you before and after. We'll go through Coin. Coca-Cola didn't really work because never really gave a good entry. We'll discuss Coca-Cola. Logitech idea was actually a good idea today. Again, it was a good idea, but could never get that solid entry, but I will talk about that idea. IONQ was a good trade today for a scalp into the reversal gap, and DKNG was also a decent push. We'll talk about all of those, right? So as you see, there are a lot of ideas in the community. I personally only traded for, right, and some people traded something else, but we go through everything, try to understand what is our repeatable process. We always use a repeatable process that we can use for rest of our life, right? Something that we can repeat. We do not trade random in our community. We do not trade blindly. We do not trade gut feeling. We do not trade just to make money. We trade so that we are following our rules and a consistent system day in, day out. All right, so those were our news plays. Then our market indicators, as always, Bitcoin was on top of our market indicator. These indicators helps us decide what is the trend of the market. So we'll discuss all that. We'll discuss the marketplace. I didn't really touch any of the marketplace today, even though Apple was weak and community was short. I was talking about the Apple weakness since morning. What was happening? Never regained. EMA Clouds and Nvidia was also weak most of the day. Before this breakout happened, we'll talk about that breakout as well. That Nvidia, the flag, this trend line breakout, we will discuss that. So all right, guys, so we'll talk about SPY, how the SPY we traded, how we tried to break it out, and the breakout kind of did not work, and we exited, saved our money. I'll show you my timestamped comments how we exited, because I knew it's going to fade, and how it pulled back, and then it bounced. My comments about this bounce of this support, the 1 hour support right here, and then how the reversal happened, and of course the Nvidia reversal happened. We will talk about all that. As always, my levels were ready today. All the levels for all the marketplace were given to the community in the start. This was the plan for the day. VIX plan was simple. If VIX stays if VIX breaks under 1950, then will be bullish bias. If VIX holds 1950, will be bearish bias. So that's what happened initially, right? So the VIX was VIX did push higher, and then that's why you saw that the bounce that happened, the bounce on VIX and the rejection. So anyways, what was our plan? So our plan was spot. Okay, let's go one by one, check out all our plays, starting with spot. So what was my plan on spot today? So spot had a news today. So as always, before you see the watch list I make, I have a plan for each of them. And what is that plan? Because today spot had his profit price target raised by bunch of analysts raised the price target. So spot was capping up. It was on my watch list. I like the daily, right? So what did I like about spot? I like this daily breakout that was happening over here. So that's what I really liked about spot. So that's why it was on my watch. I like the bullish chart. So that's why I was looking to long, right? And I was going to use initially the EMA Clouds risk if in case it kind of dipped a little. I was going to use that risk for my long, But as soon as market opened, I saw the strength and I took 1/3. Remember, if I'm taking it the size away from the risk, then I size small. I size 1/3 my size, and then if I'm profitable, I size in, right? And remember, I trade mostly the shares, so it's easier to manage your position. So anyways, as soon as the market open, I go long on spot. You can see right at open 9:30, I said long spot, and then long story short, spot pushed initially 172s right after I entered, then it pulled back on 10-minute candles. I know few new people were panicking, right? But that's a part of the game. Nothing goes straight up. So you wait for this entry, you enter here, right? You scale back in, and then you let it work out, right? Your risk is still the same. You can use this 161 risk at that time, or you can risk, when I take such an entry, then I can always risk the low of the first candle, right? So that's what you have to risk, right? If I'm adding here at 165s, then my risk 163 is $2. So I risk already that I can lose $2. So I take if I'm ready to lose 2,000 bucks, that means I'm only taking 1,000 shares, and I take the options according to my delta, and I'm only willing to lose a certain amount if the stock pulls $2 down. So anyways, spot pulls back, holds the trend, and then starts to push back again. Then I say nice push. 172 was my first target. We hit the 172. I logged the first profit. That was a $7 per share a trade there, 50% on 170 calls. Then there was a flag breakout, but the flag breakout did not give us much, and we hit 173.50, and then it started to push back here, and then I closed everything. Could have been a better trade, but that's fine. It was still a win, right? Wherever you entered, you had enough time to enter in first 10 minutes, unless you entered right on the top, and that's not what you do. You have a plan. So you have a plan. I am giving a plan 8 minutes before the market open. A good trader doesn't wait for somebody else to take along, right? They are ready. So I just tell that I followed the plan, and I followed the plan, and that plan worked out. Mostly, unless you really had a bad entry and did scale in, but otherwise it was decent win on spot. All right, so let's look at our next trade, which is coin. So what was the plan? As you can see, the plan on coin was simple. So Bitcoin. So what did Bitcoin do, right? So Bitcoin was this breakout. So Bitcoin was this breakout. I already shared this breakout yesterday. If you want to see before and after, let me show you. So if you see here, this was October 23rd, and that's when I said, breakout. Yesterday only I was talking about this breakout, October 23rd. You can see. So that's why even the swing players in the community who were swinging coin, Mara, Ride, MSTR, all of these Bitcoin plays were a long setup into this breakout, as I posted before, not the after hindsight. And then look what happened today. Here is the after, right? So maybe I can go you and yeah, see, look here. Here is the after. Before, after Bitcoin breakout, right? So that was a Bitcoin breakout. So what was the plan on coin? Coin plan was simple. Coin 1880 support, neutral bias. If breaks over 84.30, I will long 84.30. Pull back to support. 82 area was the risk. Breakout of 84.40, and boom, 89.30. That's a $5 trade, guys. 88% wins 300%. And then of course the coin was flagging. My target was frankly 90 bucks, so I did not take everything off. But when it break this 512 EMA cloud, I said I reduced the size because the breakout did not come, so need to be careful. And then when it finally broke out, I was out, right? I was still profitable from my entry, and then that's why I got out. So the plan was all here, right? So we need to execute. The plan was before the market, and after the market open you execute the plan, you trade your plan, you don't wait on anybody, and that's how it works, right? So I gave the warning when I gave, even if I give the warnings when trend is changing, and you can clearly see when the what happened. I mean, in hindsight I could have shorted a B minus against the trend for this big, because coin does these kind of moves, but I was happy. I made a good on long side, so I did leave it alone. But that was nice Bitcoin trade and our coin trade, right? So before and after, not in hindsight. All right, let's look at the next. So this was the General Motors, right? So it was I wanted to short it in the bounce. I was busy with other trades, but I did, when it was right over here, I did put up a small size to keep eye on it, and then it pushed over, and then I was like not interested. I left GM, but the, you know, because I don't want to short when it's over EMA Clouds. But the mistake I did was I did not see this resistance at 30, right? So I did not see that resistance at 30, because that I could have used for reshorting, and I did not follow the news. More bad news was coming out, and but I was, you know, I can't trade six things, right guys? You know, I was, but anyways, the point is to show you why it didn't work right out of the gate, and why it could have worked later in the day, risking this defined risk on this pre-market resistance. Starter short, add short, right? So GM was, you know, for me personally, mismanagement, but it was still a good idea, was bearish bias to short on the bounce. All right guys, let's look at the next. So here is a nice trade on Baba. Win is, it was by Win. He's always looking for relative strength. He is always looking for relative strength, and as you can see, he came on Baba right at open. Risk versus dip. What was the risk? Risk was EMA Cloud, 80 bucks was the risk. Then it broke out of previous day highs. You watch these levels, previous day highs, and his dip was at 80, and then by the time he was done with the trade, it hit 83. So nice huge win on Baba. Beautiful in the community. Love Win is a great trader. Love what it is he does. So this was really nice one. All right, let's look at the next one now. So the next one we're going to look at is IONQ. Right, so IONQ, my plan was simple, right? There was bearish news that somebody transitioned, but when I see this, when I see a strength and it's trying to recover in the pre-market, it's trying to recover, right? It is trying to recover. You see, it is trying to recover in the pre-market. It tells me that there's some buying going on here. So what did I say? It's trying to bounce, gap down, but trying to bounce. Neutral bias versus 1040 risk. Watch for a gap fill over EMA Clouds. This was a guidance before the market open, and what happened? IONQ, I said at open, hold at starters, right, over EMA Clouds, and then my target was 12. Where did it push to? It pushed to 1182. Right, so you take half of, you know, you move the stops break even, and the rest, when 512 is breaking, you get out, or you can wait to get out until your break even hits or 3450 hits, right? So no, I mean, it's still not a bad, it's just low range stock, right? If you're getting right in at open, you can use the candle lows or EMA Cloud lows, right? And then, you know, it's still not bad for 50-60 cent trades, right? 70 cents trade base, because it's a low range stock. Its average ATR is just $1, right? So it trades $1 a day. So so that was IONQ. Nothing big, but still decent. Yeah, Verizon was one that I was kind of shouting a lot on the voice today. Again, no, none of, even Verizon did not give like a perfect entry, because it was kind of the opening scalp, if you see, but it was still strong, right? Let's go. What did I say? Bullish to neutral on the pullback, and it was holding the strength. And I was mostly doing the comments on Verizon on the call, right? So what it's going to do, and if you see, I had all these price alerts, you can see, and new HOD. My 3420 was my final target, and it hit 3426, and then it came back, right? So anyways, so idea was bullish to neutral, and when this happens, you always size small, right? But as you see, it opened at what price? Opened at 33.13, right? It went from 33.30s to 34.1, just a $1 trade there, right? So it's just all about seeing your repeatable bullish setup. I'm not buying anything which is dipping. You can go to the smaller time frame, you can clearly see a level to risk. If you don't like 10-minute in the open, you can look at 3-minute. Look at this 3-minute chart. Higher, 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 higher. What a beautiful trade on Verizon, right? So that's why I'm showing you on a smaller time frame. Verizon, a beautiful idea that worked flawlessly in the community. Let's look at the next one. On the KO, the plan was simple, guys. The plan was okay, but we never really got a good entry because it never really pulled to EMA Clouds. And my plan was to 54.90 was my risk on the KO, but what happened was the KO never really pulled back to give a nice entry, to 54.90 level, because it pulled back and then broke opening candle. When it breaks the opening candle, you have to be just cautious. So this was a scratch trade. Idea was there, but never kind of worked out to give us a nice good entry. It was still closed higher for the day. It was still went higher from the opening price, but it did not really work out for us. So we call it as a scratch trade on KO. All right, so let's look at the next one. Was DKNG. Okay, let's look at DKNG now. So as you see on DKNG, so DKNG, not my trade, but I know a lot of people were in DKNG trade. They wanted to see what I'm saying or how was I going to do. So I gave the DKNG 30 target, right? So it was on the watch list, as you see, and it broke a flag 29.42. This was the flag breakout. DKNG flag breakout. DKNG flag breakout. Right, so this is what I alerted. If you see here, and that flag breakout, you can risk 20 cents and still went to 30, right? I mean, the idea was working, right? Not my personal trade, but as for in the community, I'd still like to help everybody with the trades. So many ideas, right? So DKNG was another nice idea. All right, let's look at LOGI. All right, so guys, LOGI tag, the plan was simple, to long versus 73, right? So but I was busy with other trades. That's why you have to focus on it. Did dip at the open. Where did it dip to? It dipped to 73.98, a quick candle, and then it bounced, and then it continued to push, right? So I was eyeing, it's a 52-week breakout, because I liked it because of the daily. You see, that was the daily breakout, right? So it was a 52-week breakout. That's why I like LOGI. But again, I can't trade everything, right? But the point I'm trying to show you, that was my idea. 52-week breakout, and then if I missed the 73 area, that was the risk. Now maybe we watch a pullback of 75, 76. But regardless, it just never broke 76. It always held 76 if you look the smaller time frame, and then it kept bouncing from 76. It closes to 77.32 area. Now we'll keep eye on it tomorrow, right? So yeah, so Logitech was there too. I mean, and I don't know if somebody traded, but I just wanted to cover this idea on how what it did to us, right? All right, let's see what else left. Okay, let's look at this choppy MMM trade. I don't think I covered it. Okay, so MMM, the plan was simple. I did not really, usually I never showed anything over EMA Clouds, but the daily was bearish, and I was expecting MMM to reject. If you see the daily, very bearish daily, right? So my plan was that it rejects the highs of the pre-market and then fails. So that's why I said watch pops 90.40. That's the level I gave for a B minus short scalp. And if it fails, we short it, right? So then what happened, it did hit 90.40 and did fail, right? It did fail at open. It was failing. It failed from 90 when I said watch the pops to short. So it popped to 1940 again, and then it pulled to 88.60, right? So you can see if I go to 3-minute, right? I said at 9:34 that watch the pops, and then the pop, it popped when I said that, and then it failed from that pop 1940 back to 88.62, right? So almost $1.50 almost, right? So it pulled back, but this was a problem. It was not breaking this pre-market level. It was not going lower low. Even though the entry was closer to 90, we were profitable, it was not going lower to low, right? So that's why I said stops at 90.60, even though I would prefer 90 stops. And I did tell people it's a B minus short. It's a B minus against the trend short, right? It did fade $1, but it never broke 88.50. So trade was working, So I personally, covered my half size there, and then I knew it's not going to work. And then it came back to the entry and I was out. And even though after that I was watching it for a bullish pivot, but it never really pushed higher as well. So it just, it was just up, and later it did faded later from 90 back to 89. But there was no trade there, no high risk here anyways. But it's all about entry. You have to wait for a proper entry. But that's why I do not like to short anything over EMA Clouds, because there's no conviction. But I still tried it. Luckily I got out with a little profit, but overall this was I didn't like the action, and it was kind of hard to manage, and it was a little mess. So that was our triple M trade, guys. All right, guys, let's discuss SPY. So SPY guidance was pretty clear today. This morning we were waiting for this range to break out, and then when it broke out finally, we took the long, and it was working fine until it hit the yesterday's highs and started to fail. And that's when I said I took off my calls, right? Because I didn't, I wanted a bigger, even though it was a big move for the calls from 4.24 to almost 70 cents, but I didn't, really take anything off. And when it was showing me heaviness, I just bailed out of there. I bailed out of there. So that didn't work. SPY breakout didn't work for us. So I bailed. But when I said I took off my calls, look what happened. Then I also said more rejects, more fails after the reject. I said that 11, 10, 20, I said that. And since I said that, it faded back to the lows. And I did said, look what I said. Market heavy, and then market started to break EMA 3450 clouds. Then I said yesterday's close and today's low of the day will come, and that's what it did. Heavy short scalp. So community was shorting it, I was just guiding them, and it was a nice fade. I want you guys to see that how we read the price action. My read was right. That's why I took off my calls, and I told my community, and and some of them shorted it, and it was nice. And then it bounced. Even when it bounced, I talked about wicks. What did I say? I said, let me show you. I talked about this wicks rejection of 20. That's what I mentioned. So let me see if I can show you that. Okay, yeah. So I was saying we watch the 20 now after this fade, and then VIX rejected 20, and then it was bouncing on the live stream. So that was another B minus bounce for a long in the community. I didn't long there, but then I did long this breakout of the flag. I will teach this in my webinars, but I did long this breakout of the flag. That's what I longed. I will show you guys how we did it. So let's look here, and same for Nvidia break the flag as well. If you want to see before and after, I can show you on Nvidia before and after. Let me find that. All right, guys. So here you can see, right, QQQ. Look at this alert. QQQ crossing, back over 3450 EMA clouds, back over SPY crossing, the flag breakout, back over 3450 EMA clouds. NVIDIA alert, right here, back over 3450 EMA clouds, flag breakout. Repeatable pattern, guys. Look where it ended, started from 432 to 436. QQQ in the end of the day squeeze from 357 to 359 and SPY from 423s to 424s, all by a repeatable setup. And I said 422 is the risk, 368 is the risk, right? When these reversals were happening, so those were the risks. Yeah, I think I had a typo here. There was supposed to be 357 risks, not 368 on QQQ. So anyways, so that was the point, right? So and NVIDIA this was the breakout. So this was the repeatable pattern, guys. The SPY QQQ, how I explained to you, from highs to low and from the reversals and the flag breakout. So that was the SPY live guidance in the room today. All right, guys, now back to Microsoft and Google earnings. So Microsoft and Google reported earnings today. Microsoft, amazing, really good earnings. I was really pleased what I saw. But Google, the problem with Google right now is I was looking for a breakout over the highs, this 52-week breakout so that I could long, but it never gave me that. So instead, it's dipping back to 130 support. We did trade Google versus this 130 dip to here, bought here and sold here. And now tomorrow, this 130 we will watch. The daily is still bullish. So if Google breaks 130 tomorrow, then it can pull back to 150. If holds 130, we'll watch for reversal. Microsoft, very bullish, very good earnings. It's sideways. If it holds this over 350 is the breakout for the long trade that we will do tomorrow. If it breaks that, pulls back under 344 and 340s level, then we'll fade it. So we'll see what happens. So overall, guys, the market is still not out of the woods. You can see that it's trying to get over 512 EMA clouds. This has been the level for a long time for market that's trying to get out. So we'll see what happens there. But whatever happens, guys, we will be trading. We will be finding opportunities. Earning season is here. Tomorrow again we will kill it. Join the community, come trade with us, and I will see you tomorrow. And here is QQQ, fourth time bouncing from here, but we need it back over 360 for a bullish process. All right, guys, take care, and I'll see you tomorrow, and sorry for the late video. Bye.